The Lady Isabella, the world's greatest water wheel. A miracle of Victorian engineering, an icon that the Isle of Man can be justly proud of. And the Great Wheel is to have a brand new visitor entrance hub to give people the best possible introduction to this masterpiece. And here it is. Oh, you don't like it? Oh dear. Now what can be wrong with this? It looks like a plastic porter cabin. Well, actually, it's not plastic. It's something called CanExcel, made from wood fibre, resin and wax. It gives you the authentic wood grain look. Oh joy! CanExcel presents a wide variety of wood grain patterns that create an amazing, authentic and exclusive style. Thank goodness for that. It comes in a range of gorgeous colours, and our one is going to be in midnight blue. Actually, midnight is probably the best time to view it. Now, the planning application doesn't actually give us a mock-up of what the finished installation might look like. They only provide a very basic photograph of the location. So let me have a go at imagining the finished product. The current kiosk and turnstile will go and will be replaced by this. Doesn't that fit in well? Actually, it's worse than this. If you look at the plan, you'll see that the cabin is parallel to the low stone wall that's opposite the present kiosk. That means that when you approach this from the car park, all you'll see is the end of the entrance hub. It'll look like... What's that? A container in a car park? Well, I suppose it does. If you saw the elevations of the existing kiosk, which has been there for 30 years, you might say it's rather attractive. It's got a Victorian feel about it. It's built of Manx stone with an interesting roof, and it complements the wheel beyond. But this replacement does look like a posh portaloo or a mobile classroom. Sadly, the accompanying images try to make it more attractive by adding trees and grass, but there won't be any trees, and there won't be any grass, just blue fake wood. The worry is that if this catches on, people might be tempted to install these cabins elsewhere. How about Laxey Station, for example? No? Maybe His Excellency would like a little additional entrance to Government House. And you know, when we built the cafe at Milntown, if I'd have known about these CanExcel sheds, I would certainly have installed one. Just look how it blends in with the Victorian surroundings. Not. Just let me remind you of the amazing elegance and sophistication of the Great Laxey wheel, something unrivalled anywhere in the world. It's 170 years old, and when it's looked after, it turns with the same quiet majesty that it did when it was first started by Governor Hope way back in 1854. It was named after his wife, Lady Isabella Hope, and apparently she's very upset by these plans. Certainly the current kiosk doesn't have any room for retail offerings, for toilets or a place for the staff to change, and certainly a much bigger one is needed. Not a grand multi-million-pound affair, just something more appropriate and in keeping than a blue fake mobile classroom. Something maybe faced with Manx stone and with some toilets in it. Currently people have to use the two portaloos around the back. The government own the field right next to the car park, although it's now rampant with gorse. A septic tank could go in there, and an attractive entrance kiosk could be built with all the facilities that are needed. So, what's the issue? Money? Can't we afford to do the job properly? My view, and all of this is of course just my view, one person's opinion, is that if you can't afford to do something properly, then don't do it at all, or at least wait until you can afford it. And so it's up to you, members of Tynwald. You're the people who vote the finances for the island, and surely there must be a way of financing a decent and appropriate entrance to our Great Laxey wheel. It's a once-in-a-generation chance to get this right and do something we can all be proud of. After all, we managed to find £10 million for the House of Manannan, and that was 30 years ago. And the scheme involved paying back £500,000 a year for 20 years. And that's how it got done, and it's a great building. And we're going to find more than £6 million to adapt the Edward Pier, so that our new £78 million steam packet vessel can dock, having left our new, so far, £75 million passenger terminal in Liverpool. And recently you voted £1.6 million to upgrade the sound and lighting systems in the villa and the Gaiety. Great! Why shouldn't we have the best? And we can do things right. Look at the brilliant restoration of the Camera Obscura, and the marvellous job that was done at the Villa Marina those years ago. And the rebuilt tram sheds at Derby Castle are superb and provide an ideal backdrop for our priceless vintage transport. But what are we going to end up with here? The map of the island with the spelling mistakes, the information sign with the wrong historical facts, a couple of portaloos, and an entrance hub that looks for all the world like a container in a car park. Look, after all the money that's being spent on restoring this great wheel, let's not have another half-completed job like the horse trams. Let's just get this right.